Hi guys, today let us see how we can implement ATM machine simulation using Java programming language. So first let us see before going to the implementation part of the coding. So we can observe how actually the ATM machine will be working on. For suppose say we have an account in a bank, and if you want to withdraw some money, otherwise if you want to deposit, if you want to do any transaction related to our account, every time we should not be going to the bank. We can go to the nearest ATM center instead to do this kind of transactions. So there are different number of ATM centers in our city, across the city. So we can go to any one of the ATM. So if you see in the first step, what will happen means, so whenever we will be going to the ATM, to access the ATM for our bank account, we need to have an debit card, and with every debit card we will be having your own secret pin code. So pin code, that will be 4-digit code. So whenever we will be placing our debit card in ATM machine, it will first read the debit card using the SIM, otherwise the chip present on the debit card, and validate itself like whether it is an guaranteed and valid debit card or not. After the verification, it will verify which bank it is. For suppose that we have bank 1, bank 2, bank 3, it will verify this card is belongs to which bank. So if it that card is belongs to bank 2, it will connect to the bank 2 server. After connecting to the bank 2 server, it will ask for the pin code or secret pin code. We will be entering 4-digit secret pin code. So after entering this pin code, we'll have two steps. One is the pin code may be correct, otherwise we can be incorrect also. For suppose if we uh, click on the correct pin code, it will go to the second step, step 2. If we have entered the wrong pin code, that's incorrect pin code, again it will ask for the pin code. It will give some error message that invalid pin code for that debit card, and it will ask for the pin code again. So let's go to second step. If it is correct, it will give us one menu. This is the menu. In menu, let us suppose take 5 options, 3, 4, and 5. First option may be account balance, and second option deposit, money deposit, and third option can be withdrawal, money withdrawal. Fourth option can be change pin, and fifth option can be exit or end transaction. Now, after it has been showing these 5 options in the menu, we can do one thing. We can select any one of the option. For suppose say the third step will be in the select based on the selecting the option. For suppose say we have selected first option, that is check the account balance. It will simply display the amount in your account. And if we select the second option, deposit, First, it will ask for the amount you want to add, and then it will add to your current balance. If you select for the third option, withdrawal, same thing. Withdrawal, it will first ask for the amount you want, amount you want to take out, then it will check. It will check. What it will check means, there are two possible ways for checking. One is the amount you entered may be less than the balance, otherwise it may be high. What will happen in these two cases means, if for suppose if balance is less than the amount you entered, it will give error that insufficient balance. If balance is greater than the amount, it will take out the money and it will do balance minus the amount you have taken. So if for suppose fourth option, fourth is pin change. Just it will ask for the new pin. Done. Fifth option, exit or end transaction. It will simply end the ATM machine working for that instance. So these are the steps will be done. So total 3 steps. And now let's start implementing the code. Yeah, now let's see how we can implement the ATM simulation we discussed on board using the Java programming language. So for that, I'm creating atm.java file, and when we are writing the Java code, we should be maintaining or like following some ground rules. Yeah. Now, if you see, I have created atm.java file. It automatically created an class with the name of ATM, because if we are creating any JavaScript, we need to keep the file name as the same class name only. And also there is other thing, we can have different classes in Java, like Java is object oriented programming, so we'll be having different classes. But for accessing that the code, like this Java code, we should be having at least one public class. So here I'm writing the public class, and this public class should be containing public main function. Otherwise we can say, for accessing any Java code, we should be having one first point, right? So starting point, the starting point is main function. So wherever the main function is situated, we need to keep that main function's class as public, because if main function is public and that respective class is private, we can't access the main class. So now we can create main class here, public static void main, and let us check whether our code is working fine or not. system dot out dot println hello world is our first step. Okay, hello world, and let's learn and see. Yeah, hello world, yeah, it's printed, so it's working fine. So now let us start building the ATM application. So for that ATM application, what are the variables we should be having? Main variable is literally balance. So the balance should be integer. And then what else? Private. We should be having one pin number also, because like whenever the user enters the pin, it should be validating the pin with some X value, right? So for that thing we will be storing the pin value. We can here only give the pin value by default 1234. Otherwise we can use constructor to initialize the pin value also. So for that let us write an constructor, and constructor should be also public only, public ATM int balance and int pin. This should be this balance equal to the balance we are sending. So this pointer is used for referring the current variable. So this dot pin. So here this dot balance refers to the private variable we have created in the ATM class, and this balance, the only balance is refers to the int balance we are getting from the params, that is parameters, because we have declared the balance and pin as private, right? So we can't directly access those balance and pin numbers. So for that thing we will be using this operator to access the variables or assign the variables. And constructor, this is a default constructor. If we are giving the default constructor like this or without giving the default constructor also, by default it will be doing its work. So we have already defined the constructor, so let us define the menu, public menu. So the return type will be void only, because we won't be returning anything. So display menu, display menu, system out. First option we discussed is checking the balance. Check balance. And second option we discussed is deposit. And third option we discussed is withdrawal, withdraw of the money. And fourth option we discussed is change pin, and fifth one is like exiting. So option 5 will be exiting, so exit the ATM. Now let us write some functions for checking the balance, displaying the balance, adding the deposit amount, and withdrawing minusing the withdraw amount and changing the pin. So for that thing we can write respective functions. One is, let us start the function of depositing. Deposit, we will be giving deposit some amount, the amount will be in integer only. So int amount, this amount should be added to the balance. So balance plus amount. So deposit is done, and now let us write for withdrawal, withdraw of the money. So for this also we will be sending amount only, amount will be integer format. So for that, before detecting the money, we need to check whether the balance is greater than the withdrawal amount or not. So if balance is less than the amount, then we need to tell that so insufficient funds, and we should be breaking this withdrawal here only. Otherwise we can do balance minus amount. Okay, withdrawal function is also done, and let us write a function to get the money amount, the get balance amount. Get balance, we won't be sending anything, but it will be giving us the integer, so that's why I return the return type as integer. So return balance. So return balance is done. This is to validate the pin. Let us write the function for validating the pin. So the return type will be boolean, that is true or false. So validate pin, we will send the pin also, pin will be in integer. So return this dot pin equal to pin we sent. And now change pin, let us write for the change pin thing. It won't be returning anything, so change pin, but we'll be sending new pin value. So return, no, there will be no returning, so no returning this dot pin equal to new pin. We can write like this dot pin equal to new pin, otherwise we can write pin equal to new pin also, both will work fine. Whenever we will be having same names, then we can use this operator to differentiate between the class variable and the parameters variable. So done, I think everything is done. Okay, now first let us go here and remove this line and write display pin. Before writing display menu, let us create the ATM variable, that means like what the initial values. So we will be creating like this, class name and variable name equal to, using the new operator and writing the constructor. So now in constructor we have written balance, right? So first let us send the balance. Balance should be, let us suppose 1000, initial balance should be 1000, and pin 1234. Yeah, so now I have successfully created one ATM object for the class. Let me print the display and check whether it is working fine or not. Yes, it is printing the display. Now we have printed the display, right? So after printing the display, we write enter the pin, enter the pin. So after entering, we should be saving that pin. So int pin equal to integer dot plus int of system dot console read rain. And let us see whether we are able to store the entered pin or not. So entered pin plus pin. So enter a pin, we got the value. Yes, we are now successfully storing the pin what we entered also. So after storing the pin, if the pin is correct, that means for checking whether the pin is correct or not, we need to use the validate function. We already created the validate function in the ATM class. So validate pin will be sending the pin. If it is validate only, then we will be showing the menu, else we'll show just you have entered invalid pin. So you have entered invalid pin. Done. Now if pin is valid, if the pin is valid, now for that thing we need to show the options. That means we need to show the menu. So display menu. Oh, yeah. ATM.display menu. Let us see whether it is working fine or not. First let us enter the wrong pin. Yes, you have entered the invalid pin. And now let's enter the correct pin. Yes, it showed the menu. It showed the menu. Now after menu, we need to take input from the user. So for taking input, let us create a variable of option. And after taking that, creating that variable, we need to take the input from the user. So we can write an infinite loop where option is not equal to 5, because option 5 is used for exiting, right? So we can run this loop until unless this option is not equal to 5. If it is not equal to 5, we will be displaying the menu, and also we will be taking the input from the user also. So same thing here, I can copy this and paste here, option equal to taking the integer value, and we can use switch statement. So switch option value 1, copy. Same thing like case 1 for this, for case 1, for case 2, case 3, case 4, case 5. case 2, case 3, case 4 and case 5. And in irrespective of cases, we should also maintain one default case. So always maintain a default case for the case 1. Suppose case 1. What is the case 1? We have mentioned check balance. We need to show the balance amount. So APM dot display balance. Okay, we haven't written any function. Okay, we have written get balance function, so we can do system out and balance equal to plus ATM dot get balance. Done. And what is the second option? Second option is deposit. If it is deposit, first we need to show the user to enter some value. So enter amount, enter amount. After that entering amount, we need to take that amount also. Int amount equal to same, we need to take from the user amount and we need to send that to deposit. So ATM dot deposit of the amount. Yeah, it is also done. What is the third option? That is withdrawal. That means same only, just need to call another function, that's ATM dot withdrawal of that amount. Okay, withdrawal is also done. Now change pin. So system out enter new pin. So after entering new pin, we need to take that new pin also, copy, paste. New pin is int new pin, and we need to call that function of change pin of new pin. So let's go to change pin and let us do the print out statement here. Print changed pin changed. And the fifth one is just exiting. So if it is exiting, system out thank you for using ATM. Thank you for using ATM. Yeah, I think it is done mostly. Yes. Now let us check. So enter the pin 1 2 3 4. Yes, I want to check the balance and I want to do deposit. Deposit amount should be 400 and I want to withdraw 5,000. Let me check. Insufficient funds. Very good. Now let me again do withdrawal of 200 and check the balance. It should be 1200. Yes, very good. And let me change the pin also. 6789. Yeah, pin also changed. And let me exit. Yes, good. So finally, like the ATM simulation is done using the Java programming language. If you see, the code is like just 80 lines only. It is very simple code.